I'm 39 years old and I have zero savings for retirement. And I don't know when I'm going to be able to start saving because my bills cost more than my paycheck. We're working 60 plus years, and we retire broke. I'm seeing videos of 80-year-olds that are too old to work, but too poor to retire. Name one person you know that's gotten wealthy throughout all their years of working. Just really think about it. Did your grandparents get wealthy from working? Are your parents wealthy from working? Are you wealthy yet from working? And my grandparents had to choose between prescriptions and food. I remember that before they passed away. I remember them having to make those choices. I know people who worked their whole life and they retired poor. They didn't get to retire because they were poor. They were too poor to retire. I don't know anybody, or I haven't personally met anybody who's created wealth from working their whole life.
So I ran across this video last night. There was another content creator who actually reacted to this video, and I actually share his sentiments. I think he did a pretty good job in everything that he stated, and I agree with 1,000%. And I just want to kind of share my 2 cents on what the person making the video, the original creator who made the TikTok video, just want to touch on a few things that he stated. So the young man is 39 years old. He said he has zero in savings. And he said he doesn't know when he's going to be able to save money because his bills are more than his paycheck. Well, let me touch on that real quick before I move on. That's problematic right there. That tells me that you're living well beyond your means. Now, somebody would probably push back on that and say, well, it's just the cost of living is too high. Not necessarily. Here's the thing. Before you move into a place, you know how much the rent is going to be. Or before you buy a house, you know how much the mortgage is going to be. You also know how much money you're making on your current job. So if you go into a situation knowing how much money you make compared to what you have to pay in rent or a mortgage, and you find yourself in a situation to where you're pretty much upside down, meaning that you have more money going out than what you have coming in, that's a decision you made to put yourself in that situation. You can't blame your decision of deciding to go into it knowing that you wouldn't be able to afford to be in that type of situation. Now you're paying for it on the back end. I'm not saying that that's this person's situation, but this is what happens far too many times. We make a bad decision and then we find a way to try to remove accountability and blame it on something else, like the economy, or not making enough money, or jobs not paying enough money, I should say. So it's hard to save money when your bills are more than your paycheck. So I understand why you're in that type of situation. In order for you to get out of that situation, you're going to have to find a way to make some more money so you can pay down some of your expenses that ultimately got you in the situation that you're in. So find a higher paying job. The higher paying jobs, this is something that I've touched on in previous videos. I don't know what type of qualifications that young man has, but if you only have a high school diploma and you don't really have any specialized skills, and let's just say you're working in some type of warehouse or, a job like that that really doesn't require many skills, then you need to try to acquire some skills. You need to increase your education, learn more. That way you can qualify for the higher paying jobs. Get a certification, get some type of specialized training so you can get a higher paying job to help get you out of that hole that you're in so you can begin saving money. Because you said you're 39 right now, you got some catching up to do. But you can do it if you start the process now. Get educated, work on your personal development, try to acquire as much knowledge as you can around finances, around creating wealth, so that you can become the best version of yourself. It's a lot of free information on this platform that you could take advantage of. You just have to utilize it and take action. All right, so that's number one. Number two, he stated that he's never met anybody who was able to build wealth by working a job. He also stated that he's never met anybody that was able to retire because they were poor, right? Videos like this, I think, needs more context because we're only able to hear one side of the story, which is his side of the story. We don't know why those people wasn't able to retire. We don't know why. But if I had to speculate, I would say it's due to their decision making. That's what it all comes down to at the end of the day. What type of decisions did we make, financial decisions, that caused us not to be able to retire? Did we not invest when we were working? Did we not put enough money aside in our 401k? Did we have too many debts and all of our money was going to paying off debt? Did we not think about the future? Did we not think about retirement at all during our working years? What decisions did we make that led up to this point to cause us to not be able to retire and not be able to have savings? Because I can tell you this, there are people who are working jobs and have worked jobs that were able to retire. Just because you've never met these people before doesn't mean that these type of individuals don't exist. I was just watching the video last week, and I think I talked about this on a previous video, where a guy who only made $70,000 a year throughout his working career was able to retire. Why was he able to retire? Because he was financially responsible with his finances. He didn't live above his means. He made some smart investments. He didn't get himself into a lot of debt. So when you combine all those things together, that's a recipe for success in terms of your retirement. You don't necessarily have to be making all of this money to retire. You just have to be smart. You have to be disciplined. You have to have some sort of a plan. You have to save money. You have to invest. You have to get the education. You can't just sit back and think all these things are going to work themselves out, right? These things don't just work themselves out. You have to get the knowledge and then apply what you learn so you can be successful. That's what it comes down to. The young man is 39 years old. You can be the one to break that cycle, and you can be the one to retire. And you don't necessarily have to just rely on the income that you get from your W-2 job. Also, you have to invest. If your company has a 401k company match, you need to be contributing to your 401k. You have to put your money to work at the end of the day, so you're not out here doing all the work. We just don't want active income. We want passive income. So we want our money working for us. You can change your circumstances. You can change your situation. Once you begin to work harder on yourself than you do on your job, you start exposing yourself to new information that can help you become a better version of yourself. That's when you start seeing change showing up in your life. That's when you can change the next 5 years of your life and make them better than the previous 5 years, because now you have the knowledge. Don't wait on the government. Don't wait on your partner. Don't wait on your job. You have to get to work. Stop sitting on the sidelines watching other people win. Get in the game so you can win yourself. I've said it before and I'll say it again. We live in America, the land of opportunity. There's no excuses as to why you can't be successful in life. There's no excuses as to why you can't change your circumstances. I don't care if you came from humble beginnings. So did I. You know, when I hear people say these jobs don't pay crap, I used to think just like the people who say that at one point. And then I got exposed to some new information that changed my philosophy around how we get paid in the workplace. For example, when I think about how much I get paid, there are people working for the same company I work for who make 2, 3, possibly even 4 times the amount of money that I make. So how is it that you have individuals making 2, 3, 4 times the amount of money that I make, and we work for the same company? How is that possible? It's because the people that are making 2, 3, 4 times the amount of money as me are more valuable to the company. They have more credentials. They have more experience. They have expertise in certain areas that warrants a higher compensation. They are more qualified in their respective professions, in their roles. Once you become more qualified for the higher paying jobs, you can begin to make more money. But while you're down here, you can't expect to make money up here. In order for you to kind of bridge that gap, you have to become more qualified. Everybody watching this video right now that has a job and you're a W-2 employee, whatever you're making right now, there's probably somebody at your company that makes more money than you. Probably even 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, and even higher. And you work for the same company. So while you may not be making much money in your current position, it doesn't mean that the company doesn't pay money. They pay good money. It's just to the people who are more qualified. So once you start seeing things through that lens and not just on your level and where you are, you start to change your thought process. And you understand that, okay, in order for me to make the most money and really maximize my earning potential from where I am right now, I have to become more qualified. I have to get the certifications. I have to get the knowledge. I have to get the degrees, possibly, depending on the roles, right? I have to get the specialized training. I have to put in the work in order to become more valuable to the marketplace. I harp on this repeatedly because it's so true. If you're only making minimum wage and you're complaining about the minimum wage needs to be increased, I guess if you plan on staying at the bottom for the rest of your life, maybe the minimum wage does need to increase. Maybe it does need to be higher. But I'm telling you, if you just become more valuable, if you just learn a skill, you wouldn't be thinking about raising the minimum wage. I'm telling you, you can climb much faster if you just get the information and you get the knowledge and you become more qualified and you become a better version of yourself. You don't have to wait on a pay raise. Just become more qualified. That's going to give you the best pay raise. I just want you guys to understand that so much of this stuff that we talk about as it relates to money and life and all these different things, it all comes down to your decision making. We have to look in the mirror and hold ourselves accountable and say, you know what? I'm in this predicament because of the decisions I've made over time, bad or good. In order for me to change my circumstances for the better, I have to change. Listen, man, that's all I got for you guys. I'll holler at you on the next one. Peace.